relapses. There is not a single person that I've spoken to that's on an alcohol-free journey that hasn't at some point dealt with a relapse. And in this video today, we're going to be breaking down why they happen. I'm going to be breaking down my personal experience with relapses, and I'm also going to be talking to you about ways that you can make sure that you stop relapsing and start living that great life alcohol-free. Make sure to stay tuned. Just before we get into the video, if you want to get access to the free video training showing you how to control your drinking without AA or willpower, click the link in the description. I'll be showing you how to use the mental model called first principles thinking to get control of your drinking. I'll be talking about the 5 critical mistakes that 90% of drinkers make, and I'll also be sharing the 2 phases of becoming sober clear. You do not want to miss that training video. It will change your mindset around drinking forever so you can start getting your health, career, confidence and relationships back on track. Click the link in the description for instant access. So first, what is a relapse? So a relapse is basically when you do something that you told yourself that you wouldn't do. So in this case, we're talking about alcohol, so it's essentially drinking when you told yourself that you would not drink. Now, relapses come in many different shapes, many different sizes, many different durations. Some people have a relapse that's 1 glass of wine and then they get back on track. In my experience, which I'm going to share later, I've had relapses that lasted months on end. It took me months to get back on track. And for a lot of people, they're an inevitable part of a journey of actually getting free from alcohol. It's been a part of my journey, and I'm really looking forward to actually sharing these insights with you today. So, as you guys know, I realized that I had a drinking problem pretty early. I realized that in my, young 20s that I drank pretty heavily. And there were many times where I told myself that I wasn't going to drink. There were many times that I said, right, Leon, that's it. We're finished. We're done. We're going to take a break. We're going to take a month off. We're going to take 2 months off, whatever. There were more times than I can count that I actually said to myself, right, you're done. You're finished. That's it. We're not drinking again. You wake up in the morning with a bit of a hangover and you're like, what have I done? And why have I done it again? Never again, never again, never again. And I have broken that promise to myself so many times. I had so many relapses on my journey. And it was in my early 20s that I started going to AA. I went to 12-step meetings. My mum encouraged me to go. And I relapsed. I went to AA. I did the work. Didn't really want to do it anymore. Started drinking again. Then there was also a period where I stopped drinking with willpower. I stopped drinking for about 9 months. And it was actually really, really good. I built a business. I had a great relationship. Things were going well. I had a car. I had a nice place to live. And I went to a New Year's Eve party, and I remember it still vividly to this day, where everybody's dressed nice, champagne, cocktails, all that stuff. And what I started doing was I started buying into the illusion that alcohol had a benefit to it. I started looking at it like I was missing out. I started thinking that it was somehow going to enhance the occasion again. And the willpower that day ran out. I ended up drinking again. And that relapse ended up lasting something like 8-9 months. I can't really remember the exact dates, but it basically started here. And at first, things were okay. The first week, no issues. Second week, not that many issues. Third week, okay, I'm drinking, it's picking back up again. A month in, and it's just not where I wanted it to be. And basically what happened is that one drink, or that one relapse, resulted in me drinking again for 8 months. And what happened is I just dismantled everything. My business collapsed. I broke up with my partner at the time. I had to go and live at my friend's place because I had no money. It was just like going from ground zero. It was an absolute catastrophe. So to say that I've not relapsed on my journey would be a complete lie, but these days I don't feel like that anymore. I feel this different sense of certainty in my decision to be a non-drinker. I feel all in. And really, I'm kind of grateful of these experiences because I can actually pull out the lessons from each of these mistakes. And it all boils down to just one simple thing. And I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but it all boils down to the way that I view alcohol. So basically, up until 2.5 years ago, where I made that certain decision to not drink again, every single attempt in the back of my head was starting with this negative mindset. I thought that I was making this sacrifice, I was taking something away that just provided so much value in my life. So every single attempt, it was like I was pulling something away. It would be like saying, I'm going to stop going to the gym, right? If I had to stop going to the gym and I told myself I was not going to go to the gym anymore, I would feel bad because it makes me feel good. If I had to stop training, it would be a genuine sacrifice because there are benefits. But I used to see alcohol the same way. I used to think that I was taking away this great thing, this thing that was just doing so many good things. Deep down, I knew that was nonsense. I knew I was justifying this behavior. But at the same time, it was like this conflict in my mind. I knew I wanted to stop. I also thought it was a good thing. Now, obviously, there were times where I had got really drunk, got myself into a bad position, just wasn't really feeling it. And the negatives of alcohol were very high up. The benefits seemed to be very low. And it was during those times that I could often just stop with willpower. I'd just stop for a week. I'd stop for 2 months. I'd stop for however long. And then what would happen is it would basically be like this switch where the negatives were now no longer apparent in my life. So, I might be in the gym again. I might have rebuilt lost income. I might have got into another relationship. I might be dating again, whatever. My mindset might just be better. I might just be feeling better. I might be feeling healthier. And the negatives of drinking were just slowly going down. And then what would happen is I'd start seeing other people drink. I'd start talking to friends and I'm like, what are you up to tonight? Oh, I'm just going to the bar. And I'd be thinking, oh, right, are you? And what would happen is the benefits of alcohol would start creeping back up. Now, this is the thing with relapses. The reason why relapses typically happen is because all of a sudden, the benefit of alcohol just completely dwarfs the negative. And in every single time that I had relapse, that is what happened. The benefit of drinking it just seemed to be so much better than any negative that could happen. When the real way to view alcohol is there is never a benefit. It can never look like this. There's no benefit. And the negatives are just so apparent. I knew the negatives, but I still was viewing alcohol as a good thing. So when I really reflect, that's all that was happening. I just hadn't changed the way that I view alcohol. I still saw it as a good thing. And what are you going to do when you see something as a good thing? You're not going to tell yourself not to do it. And this was a problem. Because there are no benefits to consuming alcohol at all. They're just perceived benefits. We see the people around us doing it, so we start to buy into the illusion of it being a good thing again. We see the marketing, so we start to buy into it being a good thing again. We see all of this stuff, and basically, we start to think that there are benefits again. And this usually builds up over time. It's not usually an overnight thing. People don't typically go from being a non-drinker to just all of a sudden going, I'm drinking. It's usually a typical, over the course of a few days, a few weeks, sometimes a few months. Like when I stopped drinking with willpower, this idea of alcohol being a good thing had just been slowly ramping up for a long time until I got put in a scenario where the inevitable happened because my mindset just wasn't there. So really the trick to stopping relapses, I don't have a hack. I don't have something you could do like a 3-2-1 count. I don't know. I just don't have that. But what I do have is the solution that worked for me, which was changing the way I viewed alcohol. That changed absolutely everything. It's what I help people do in the Sober Clear program. And to me, changing the way you view alcohol, reframing it as something that does nothing for you, will just completely change your mindset around alcohol forever. And this always ties into the second half of the equation, which is going towards a better life. It's defining a dream, defining new goals, defining this version of you that you want to step into, and stepping into it. But really, when it comes to relapsing, mindset is just going to change absolutely everything. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot.